Isabella Peterson's life was shaped by resilience, determination, and an unbreakable spirit, setting her on a path that would lead her from hardship to historic service. Born on December 6, 1919, she was the seventh of 13 children and the first girl in a large and hardworking family. Her father worked as a blacksmith, a physically demanding and skillful trade, while her mother was a homemaker, managing a household filled with children. Growing up in a family of that size meant that she learned responsibility at an early age, helping to take care of her younger siblings while also carving out her own path. However, her childhood took a tragic turn at the age of 12 when she was orphaned. Her mother died a month after giving birth, and just 5 days later, her father suffered a fatal heart attack. This sudden loss changed the course of her life, forcing her and her siblings to leave their home and move to Washington, D.C., where they were taken in by an aunt and uncle. Adjusting to life in a new city was not easy, and the transition came with setbacks. Upon enrolling in school in Washington, D.C., she was pushed back 2 years in high school. Despite this setback, she excelled in math and science, subjects that fascinated her. She graduated from Cardozo High School in 1940, an achievement that reflected her determination and resilience. Many young African American women at the time faced limited career opportunities, and for Isabella, entering the workforce meant taking on jobs that were available rather than jobs that aligned with her interests. She found work as a maid in the homes of politicians, a position that, while difficult, allowed her to earn a living. However, she had greater aspirations and took the civil service exam, hoping to secure a government position. Her efforts paid off when she was offered a job as a postal clerk with the U.S. Navy. She worked in a temporary building near the National Mall, a significant step up from domestic labor. In 1942, the United States entered World War II, and the government expanded military operations. That same year, the Women's Auxiliary Army Corps was created, offering women a chance to serve in a military capacity. Isabella seized the opportunity and enlisted in December 1942 in Washington, D.C. Basic training took place at Fort Des Moines, Iowa, where she learned discipline, teamwork, and the military's expectations of its female recruits. Her first assignment as a WAC was as a postal clerk at Fort Clark, Texas, where she met her husband, Oscar Edwin Evans, a cavalryman stationed at the base. Their marriage was tested when he was deployed overseas to North Africa, leaving Isabella to continue her military service on the home front. The WAC underwent a transformation in July 1943 when it was officially renamed the Women's Army Corps. Female soldiers, including Isabella, were given the choice to continue serving under the new structure or return to civilian life. She chose to stay, demonstrating her commitment to the war effort. Later, she transferred to Camp Gruber in Oklahoma, where she worked as a company clerk, handling administrative tasks that were essential to the operation of the base. Wanting to contribute more directly to the war effort, she volunteered for overseas deployment and was assigned to the 6.888 Central Postal Directory Battalion, also known as the 6.888. This unit was the only African American WAC unit sent overseas during the war, a historic distinction that placed these women in a unique position. Their mission was to sort and organize military mail, an essential but often overlooked aspect of wartime logistics. Without efficient mail delivery, soldiers stationed abroad lost touch with their families, which could significantly impact morale. The motto of the 6.888, "No mail, low morale," underscored the importance of their work. Recognizing the urgency of their task, the women of the 6.888 implemented an innovative organizational system, maintaining roughly 7 million information cards to track service members by their serial numbers. This allowed them to distinguish between individuals with similar names and locate soldiers who had moved between units. Even mail with incomplete addresses had a chance of being delivered under this new system. The hardest part of their work was handling mail for deceased soldiers. Letters from loved ones, filled with words of encouragement and affection, could no longer reach their intended recipients. These letters had to be returned to their senders, an emotionally challenging task for the women processing them. Despite the difficulties, their efficiency was remarkable. The work of the 688 was instrumental in maintaining communication between soldiers and their families, an aspect of war that is often overlooked but is vital to those serving far from home. By November 1945, Isabella's service in the WWII came to an end. She sailed back to the United States and was honorably discharged at Fort Dix, New Jersey. Returning to civilian life presented new challenges as she had to transition from military structure back to everyday life. She took a job at the main post office in Washington, D.C., working through the busy holiday season before being assigned to a substation nearby. Her life took another turn when she and her husband moved to Indianapolis, Indiana, after he returned from his military service. However, their stability was temporary. Oscar Evans re-enlisted and was later deployed to fight in the Korean War, forcing Isabella to adjust once again. While he was stationed overseas, she moved back to Washington, D.C., raising their 3 children on her own while continuing to work. Balancing work and family life without her husband present was a challenge, but she managed to provide for her family while maintaining a sense of normalcy for her children. After years of working in government positions, she eventually retired in North Carolina. Her life was one of service, perseverance, and adaptation, navigating the difficulties of war, family, and career with remarkable resilience. She passed away in 2007, leaving behind a legacy of dedication to both her country and her family. Her story is also a reminder of the roles that African American women played during World War II. Often overlooked in discussions of the war, these women contributed to the war effort despite facing racial and gender barriers. If you want to learn more about the incredible story of the 688, check out our full playlist. Just click the playlist link on this video or in the description below. You can also find more videos on our channel all about their mission and impact. And if you like this video and know someone in the military, please share it with them. Thank you for watching.